This is episode number 312 of the Homeowners Show. Whether you're DIY or looking to hire, we're here to help you find the best information and options for you and your home. My name is Kevin Hackett, and here with me is Craig Williams.
Hello, and welcome to our new pad.
The new pad.
The new pad. we're shaking things up a little bit tonight.
It's a little different.
Yeah,
I'm liking it so far.
So we're not. This is not a permanent move. There was an incident in the studio that required our immediate evacuation.
Yes.
So
and we know that you can't tell a difference, but we can tell a difference.
We can tell the difference. We're a little cozier. We're a little comfier.
Yeah.
But we're gonna have a good time tonight.
It feels a little different. We didn't have any bump music on the live. It'll be in the obviously the audio, but a little different setup. So how you doing?
Yeah, well, I'm doing good, man. I'm actually excited to, like, if you're watching live, or honestly, if you're listening to the recording later on, we really want feedback on this setup.
Yeah.
Because we're trying out some new mics.
Yes.
That we've had for a while. Shout out to my buddy Chris DiCillo, who's got a new podcast up in Colorado. Kind of helped him get that up and going. But these were mics that we had tried out. We hadn't used them live on the show yet, but I had recommended them to him, and he's like, dude, these have been a massive game changer.
Interesting.
Yeah. He was one of my upperclassmen when I was at A&M.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, he used to like make me do push-ups and yell at me, and now we're friends.
Oh,
it's funny how that works out.
Yeah, well, there comes a point whenever that doesn't matter as much anymore.
Yeah, but he's doing a really cool local podcast. Focusing on businesses and business owners, and they're trying to, like, sort of dig deep into like what their mantra is. I saw him doing an interview with a gal the other day that it was a restaurant.
Okay.
And she had, I think it was a milkshake called the Velvet Elvis, and I assume it was like chocolate and banana, and
right.
It looked delicious.
I was going to say, it sounds delicious.
So I was intrigued, Chris. Bravo. But I think that's something that we're going to start seeing more and more of, because there's so many people that want to be famous.
Yeah.
But I think more podcasters are finding value in focusing in on their community and making content for the people that they can actually reach out and touch.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely makes sense, because one of the things that's so different about the world that we live in is the way people trust you is very different.
Yeah.
And if you own a business, trust is a big thing.
Huge.
It's huge. And so when
I feel like we did a little Trumpism right there.
Yeah.
It's huge.
So it's one of those things, though, that, like, I mean, it's not the same. Word of mouth is still very important, but people get to you now through a computer. And having some sort of trust where they can actually, hear your voice, see your, your mannerisms, all those sorts of things, it's just different. And so I think that's another reason that podcasts can be a really good thing for businesses as far as that goes.
Well, I mean, especially locally, because everyone gets sort of tunnel vision into what they're doing in the busyness of their life. Mm-hmm. And so if there's some sort of content that allows you to make a personal connection with a local person, you feel more like that person.
Oh yeah.
This is the thing that I hear. You hear other big podcasters who have been doing it for years, like Rogan. Like, Rogan will talk about how it's weird that people will approach him and they act as if they know him.
Oh, yeah.
And what he's come to understand is that they do know him.
Uh-huh.
But he doesn't know them.
Correct.
And so he's at a disadvantage.
Yes.
But because he's been doing it for so long, and he's so prolific, and he's so good, and people want to watch his stuff, that everyone feels like they know him. Mm-hmm. And I think that's something that he wrestles with, honestly.
Well, I don't think it's just him. I was listening to another podcast the other day, and they said that someone just walked up to him or like, "Hey, how's it going?" And they were in a weird context, and so they didn't think about, like, this person probably knows me because I've got this podcast.
Yeah.
But they were like, they said their name. They're like, well, maybe I knew them from somewhere in the past or something.
Yeah.
Finally, they realized it was a podcast, and they were like, "Oh, well, that makes a lot of sense." But it's a very singular relationship,
Right.
you know.
Has this not happened to you
Oh,
yet?
it has happened
It
to me.
happens to me too.
Yeah, and
Where people like start asking me
yeah,
about like specific details about my life
yep,
and things that we've talked about on the show, but like it could be that they watched an episode that we did like 2 years ago,
right.
and they're asking me questions about things that we said then, and I'm like, hell if I know.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah.
No, it's a very
I don't remember what I had for lunch yesterday.
Well, right. I mean, 6.5 years into doing this, I mean, this
Yeah.
many episodes, we run into people,
Right.
and they run into us, and they recognize us, and we're on video. You know? So it's interesting.
Yeah.
For sure.
Dude. So, some other big podcasts. I feel so. Here's the thing. I feel like I don't know. There's a lot of people probably don't realize, but like I got in trouble. Like you got in trouble for New Jersey.
Yeah.
But with Bill Burr.
Yes, you did. you got in quite. You got people were after you.
Yeah. I've never been called a bootlicker so many times in my life. And like I'm excited that things get a lot of comments, and that's the only reason I go sometimes is to see what they are. But like all of it's just like hate, absolute hate towards me, and I could give a flying flip.
No, I mean because it's here's the thing, like anybody that knows you, people that listen to the show.
By the way, you got brought up in the comments as well.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, because they were like, "Oh, two idiots from Texas don't know it." Like he's got Texas Tech and he's got A&M. Obviously, we're dealing with morons, kind of a stuff. And it's like, it was that kind of a thing.
Junk. Yeah, because like it's one of those deals too. It's like, would you say it again?
Oh, 100%.
That's the thing. It's like we said what we wanted to say.
I'm about to double down on it.
Exactly.
By the way.
Oh, okay, because it's kind of like one of those deals. Like you can. When you have your own podcast, then you can say whatever you want.
Yeah.
Make your own opinion.
Yeah, and by the way, most of the people who are saying crap about us online have no picture of themselves in their profile.
Right.
Like it's like
Right.
it's a bunch of giant cowards.
Yeah.
That don't want people to know who they are, so they can say whatever dumb thing it is that they want to say.
Yep.
But here's the thing that I found interesting is we kind of broke the story that Bill was saying idiotic and moronic things about how people should be drugged out in the street and shot.
That's right.
Right? And that's a dumb thing to say. And I don't care who you're saying it about, whether it's billionaires or the poor or a dog, or I don't care. If you're talking about dragging people out in the middle of the street and shooting them, you're an idiot.
Right.
And no one should listen to what you say after that or before that.
Correct.
So that period, end of story. But what happened is, like 2 weeks after that, all of a sudden Ben Shapiro starts dogging on Bill Burr.
Yep.
All of a sudden Tim Pool starts dogging on Bill Burr.
Yep.
And maybe they listen to our show.
Probably
maybe
do.
They should.
Why? If they don't, they will soon.
But like here's the thing: is they were like 2 weeks behind us on this, but like we took all the big heat. From all of these commies who think that all the money that these billionaires have made should be taken away from them and redistributed. Right. And here, I remember Jim Rohn saying this years and years ago, is like, if you took all the money in the world, take all the money in the world and redistributed it equally to the world, everybody gets a piece. Within 5 years, all that money is going to be right back in the same hands that you took it from.
Yeah. Because the people that make money know how to make money.
They know how to make money.
And people that
don't know how to
money.
I think that's actually like a little bit of a misnomer. I don't know that they know how to make money. What they know is how to manipulate systems. And play games.
Yeah, which is the way money is set up.
Yep.
It's just a system and a game.
Yep.
And if you know how to play the game, then you can make more money. And oh, by the way, the people that don't have money, they made their choices.
Yeah.
Now, that's okay. Overstatement. That was an overstatement. Here's the thing. Many people that have a broke mentality are going to get broke again.
Yep.
So that's really my point more than anything.
I mean, Generalizations are not fair.
No, they're not.
Most of the time.
I'm aware.
And there are people who are genuine victims of systems
Sure.
and situations.
Absolutely.
That does happen, but it's not the overarching normal.
No.
Most people cause their own problems.
Yeah. Yes.
And there's some people that will hear that and see, well, he doesn't care. He's not empathetic. And
that's actually the opposite.
That is the opposite.
Right.
Because what I genuinely believe is that most people are completely capable of pulling themselves out of situations despite the systems that are burdened upon them, despite their situations, despite their upbringing, despite whatever it is that you think is holding them down. Most everybody is capable of rising above that and succeeding anyway.
Yeah.
And that's the problem I have with all these people is they're just a bunch of freaking whiners that think that they're the victim. And they think that they're the victim is because they've been told that they're the victim. And there's been people in their lives that have convinced them that they're the victim by telling them that they're the victim.
Yep.
And I'm sorry, that's just a miserable way to live.
Oh yeah.
Like even if I was in a less fortunate situation than I was in, I would hope that there would be somebody around me that would tell me, you know what? You can do this. You can get out of this, man. This is totally doable. And not only that, but like you're capable of it.
Right. And I've found that there are so many people and organizations that are willing to help. They really are. And if you are, this is true. I say this to young people all the time. If you are the type of person that puts initiative out, there are people that will help you all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I have so my daughter, did I tell you she started a business?
No.
Yeah. So she started.
Oh, is she doing like a knitting?
Crochet business. Yeah. So she crochets, self-taught mostly. But she's started this business and she's 12 and she's got people all the time that are going, hey, love to help you out. I mean, they're out there buying her stuff, not because they necessarily need it, but because they're like, look, here's someone who's showing initiative. They like that. They want that kind of, person to succeed in life. And we need that kind of person to succeed in life. And so, there are people out there and there are organizations out there that will help. But anyway, we're way off topic. That's not where we plan to go at all. We actually do have a topic that we're going to talk about today.
Yeah. So I guess this was 3 months ago. I bought the Westinghouse tri-fuel generator.
Okay.
And this is something I'd had in the works for a long time.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll say about this, and then I'll drop it. Is my folks have a whole home generator.
Right.
A Generac.
Yep.
Natural gas powered. It's fantastic. And I forget how long ago it was now that we had the massive freeze where you guys came and stayed here.
Yep, that was probably 6 years ago now.
Was it? No.
Probably.
Could have been 6 years ago.
Dude.
It had been like 3 or 4.
It had to have been more than 3 because we've lived in our house for almost 3 and we didn't live in this house whenever that happened.
Well, yeah, okay.
So
anyway, when that one happened, when we had like 7 inches of snow here.
Yeah, it was a bunch.
The home generator failed.
Really? I remember this.
Yeah, it wouldn't come on.
Yeah.
And my dad was having to go out in the frigid cold and manually start this thing, and it would only run for like an hour at a time.
And then it would shut off.
And that's not what you're supposed to experience.
No.
And that may not be the experience of most Generac home generators.
Yeah.
But it put a bad taste in my mouth.
Sure.
I didn't like that it was difficult to open. It was difficult to understand how to start.
Yeah.
He's calling me going, hey, can you look up on YouTube? Hey, can you look up on Google?
Because he doesn't have power.
And like I'm stranded up here, not being able to be there with him and help him understand what's going on, or even try and like open the thing up with him.
Right.
So anyway, I was like, man, I really want something that gives me a little bit more versatility, gives me a little more options. Because once you have one of those things plugged into your house, that's the only thing it can ever do.
Sure.
You know,
Oh yeah, it has no utility at that point.
outside of
Outside
that,
of that, it
right?
is yeah.
And so I was thinking, and there are occasions in my business where I do need a generator. I do like to go camping.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at having other properties where a generator could really come in handy.
Yep.
Because we're looking at more wilderness locations
Right.
because that's kind of the people that we are.
Yep.
And so I would like to have a big enough generator that if I needed to take it with me, I could.
Mm-hmm.
But also, we have 3 buildings on this property, and I would need a pretty big generator in order to operate all of them to sustain the things that I would, and mainly the big things are all of the refrigerators and freezers on this property.
Right.
Because I don't want the food to go bad.
No.
That's the big thing.
Yep.
Water and lights, that's no big deal. So anyway, I got this Westinghouse tri-fuel generator, and what's cool about it is at its peak, it's 14,500 watt generator. Now that's if it's running off gasoline.
Right.
And so
just to give a little bit of perspective, maybe 2 years ago, we did an episode on my tri-fuel generator.
Right.
That is it's a Duramax.
Duramax, right.
And at the time, it was the largest tri-fuel on the market.
Right.
And on gasoline, it runs at 13,000.
Right.
So this is another 1,500 watts, which is
significant.
Significant.
Yeah.
It really, really is.
Now, they do have ones that are bigger.
Yeah, in fact, Duramax now has an inverter generator that is 16,000.
Oh wow!
And it's also tri-fuel, but the fact that it's an inverter, it's got a lot more power than a traditional generator has.
Right.
But either way, I just to put that in perspective, this is now one of the larger tri-fuel generators that are out there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it has a lot of bells and whistles. I mean, so just to kind of go through it, I mean, I've run it, and also my buddy John Wagner, who owns Y Electric, he came out and put in a 50 amp plug.
Yep.
On my system, and part of what makes this property a little bit unique is we actually have 4 breaker boxes.
Okay.
So there's a main breaker box that splits off into the other 3 breaker boxes for each of the buildings.
Okay, so does the primary breaker box run the others?
Yes.
Okay, so
it feeds the others.
So it feeds the others, which means if you put a generator on the primary, you can still run things on the auxiliary ones.
Yes.
Which is great.
I can run things because initially what we were going to do is just put the plug on the main house.
Yeah, I mean we've got a similar setup. We've got 2 other buildings that have smaller breaker boxes on them. And as long as it's hooked up to the primary,
you're good to go.
You're good to go.
Yeah. And so that was this situation. And so we can go through and select what all we want on. And so what I was concerned about is, if it's hurricane season, can I plug in the generator and run the air conditioner in the main house?
Yeah.
Because it's the most efficient air conditioner that we have on the property. Everybody could fit in that building that's living here, sleep comfortably. Could we run the air conditioner? According to John, not a problem.
Yep.
Not a problem at all. And I was like, so my other question is during the day when we don't necessarily need to run the air conditioner because I mean I'm really only concerned about the air conditioner at night when I want to sleep.
Sure.
If during the day, could that generator run every single refrigerator and freezer on this property? And let me tell you, there are a lot of refrigerators and freezers on this property.
Yeah.
And he was like, look, I mean, I think, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Wow.
7 of them.
Wow.
And I was like, could it run 7 of them? No problem.
Nice.
At least according to my electrician. I'm not an expert. I was just asking the questions.
Sure.
So, the key, the reason I ended up buying this one is because of all the versatility that comes with it. So it has a 50 amp plug. It has a 30 amp plug.
Right.
And then it just has all the banks on it that you can also operate at the same time.
Right.
Just regular plug. And I think it has, I'm going to look at the picture. I think it has 4. It's not in here. That's the reason I'm having to look.
Yeah.
Yeah,
mine.
It has 4.
It has so it has actually 6 plugs on it.
So 6 total: a 50 amp, a 30 amp, and then 4 120s.
Yep.
That you can just plug into.
Yep.
So, and then it's a simple dial. So you can run it off of natural gas, you can run it off of propane, or you can run it off of gasoline.
Right.
Gasoline's going to give you the highest output.
Right.
Propane's the next step down, and then natural gas is the next step down.
Correct.
So we have access to all 3 of those fuel sources here on the property because we keep a stash of gasoline, we keep a stash of propane, but we also have a natural gas line. And having the natural gas, my big question is if we did the step down to the natural gas, could it still do all the things that I want it to? And the answer I got was yes.
Yes.
So that was huge for me.
Yeah.
Because when a big storm comes through, sometimes you can't get to the gas station.
No.
Sometimes you can't get to the propane refill. And sometimes you run out of bottles or whatever it is.
Well, propane is the least efficient of those.
Natural gas is.
Well, it is.
I mean, as far as like output,
it is as far as output goes. But as far as like how quickly
it uses
it, the propane will go.
Oh, I imagine
quick.
So. Yeah, propane goes quick.
I mean, a 30, basically a regular 20-pound bottle, which is basically what you'll put in a gas grill.
Right.
That will run about an hour.
Right.
That's not very long.
So now we have a here on the property. I guess it's like a 200-pound tank.
Yeah. It's a long way away.
It's a long ways away.
Yeah.
But we do have that.
Sure.
And so, is it shaking?
Yeah,
we got Jake Spoon hanging out in the room with us tonight. He's the new Aussie of the family.
Yeah.
So we have him in here so that he gets used to Kevin because he's suspicious of new people.
Well, it is what it is. But he keeps walking past the camera going, okay, there's cords around here.
Yeah,
so far so good.
He's doing all right. So those are good features. So having the versatility of a 50 amp and a 30 amp, because I think, and you're more the expert on this, but some RVs will run off a 50 amp and some RVs will run off a 30 amp. The smaller ones run off a 30 amp.
It all depends on how many air conditioners you've got.
If it's just one.
If you have one air conditioner, it'll run 30 amp. If it's got 2, then you have to run 50. And some of them have 3 and it'll run 50 as well. But those are going to be your diesel pushers if they have 3. But most travel trailers will have, the bigger ones are going to have 2 and it needs 50 amps to run that. Okay. So it has those options as well. So if you had, different size RVs that you needed to power, it can do those as well. If, and I've seen some houses that only have a 30 amp plug for their generator plug. Sure, and it really all depends on what you're trying to run. I mean, if you're trying to run...
Because I don't think a 30 amp will do air conditioning.
It won't.
Yeah.
You need a 50 amp to run the air conditioner, but a 30 amp would run an oven. It would run, a dryer.
If you had an electric oven.
An electric oven will run it. Same thing with the electric dryer. It needs a 30 amp.
Right.
So, again, all of it, everything has to do with what you're trying to run at one time. Yeah.
So the other key features on this one that I'll point out that one is this fuel switch on it, super easy to use, very intuitive. It also has an electric starter.
That's so nice.
So you do have the pull start option.
Yeah.
In case the battery is drained or the starter's broken or whatever it is, you still have the option to pull start. But why live like that?
When you don't have to.
When you don't have to.
Exactly.
So it has the electric start and it works really, really well.
Yeah. It's really cool because the way those things work is they they rev up, and if it doesn't start, it stops.
Right.
It waits a few seconds.
Right.
It tries to go again until
Yeah.
it finally starts up. It's really they're real smart.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they're super smart, and at least my experience so far, doesn't struggle at all. It just
No.
starts right up.
Yep.
And to be fair, I've only run it to test it.
Yeah. Did you test it on natural gas?
No, not yet.
Okay, so you only ran it on gasoline.
Only on gasoline so far.
So what I'll tell you is when you do hook it up to natural gas, natural gas is just a little bit different in that it's got to get into the system.
Oh, it takes a minute.
It takes a minute because the gasoline sits on top,
right?
And it's gravity fed, where natural gas it's pressure fed from the side.
Okay.
So it's just a little bit different setup as far as that goes. So, just something to keep in mind.
Does that mean it just takes a little longer to start, or
it does the first time?
Yeah.
But once it starts, if you turn it off and it's still connected and you want to start it back up, it'll start right back up.
Oh, because it's
already connected. It's already got the fuel.
Yeah.
In all the spaces.
Okay.
So
the other feature on this one that I thought was super cool is it has a remote fob.
Yep, ours has that too.
And
which it's interesting to me
Mm-hmm.
because that would be fantastic if your breaker box was inside.
Okay.
Mine, and yours too, you're gonna have to go outside to flip the breaker, turn the generator breaker on,
sure,
all that kind of stuff. So you're outside already. You can just press the button while you're out there.
Right.
But if you had a house, which I've had a house before, where the main breaker is indoors or it's in a garage or something.
Right.
And if I had to just go out of the garage, flip it on, but my generator's sitting outside, obviously, please always set your generator outside. Then having that push button would be amazing.
Well, I mean, in my mind, what I was thinking is, because I was like, yeah, initially I'm going to have to be out there with it.
Right.
But like, if we're over a 2 or 3 day period where the power's down, if I've already got it hooked up and I'm turning it off during the day, which I probably would, just to maybe. I mean, it depends on if I'm hooked to natural gas.
Yeah, that's one. I was going to say, if you're like me, hooked up to natural gas, just let that thing run.
Right. But
I see what you mean.
But yeah, if I was inside and I was looking to turn it on just to get everything, like all I got to do is click that button.
So easy.
And it's just gonna go.
Yeah.
So it, and the one that I bought came with a cover.
Yeah.
It came with a cable.
Yep.
Excuse me.
Did it come with an electric cable?
Yeah.
Or it came with a natural gas cable? Or
it came with a natural gas cable. It came with a propane cable.
Okay.
Yeah, and then when we had the 50 amp plug put in, John gave us like a 15-foot 50 amp cable.
Yep.
To hook it up, and I have stuff from other other generators that I've owned in the past. I've got a 30 amp plug that I can wire up directly into a breaker box. So that's the thing that I loved about it, man, is it's extremely versatile.
Yeah.
It gives me all the options that I could possibly want from a generator, and it's not even difficult to move around despite it being really big.
It's heavy. I mean, those things are heavy, but I'm sure it's got no flat tires on them, and which means they're pure rubber basically.
Yeah. And like it's got like a fold out dolly. Built into it. That allows you to like fold it out, pick it up, and move it wherever you need to.
Yep.
You don't have to be super strong to get it around.
Nope.
But I would imagine most people, if they have one, they're going to park it one place to where it's accessible to get it jacked in to whatever it is they need it to.
Right.
And really, that's the purpose of this thing. It's intended to be a replacement whole home generator that doesn't have to be sitting on a concrete pad outside your home forever.
Well, and in that way, it's if you've got it where we've got ours out in the shop, so it's protected all the time.
Right.
One thing I did buy for mine, which you might look into at some point, is it's a generator tent that actually it
Does it
mounts
keep like the rain off of
it
it?
mounts on the generator to keep the rain or snow or whatever off of it.
Sure.
It was supposed to withstand like 70-mile-an-hour winds,
Mm-hmm.
and because it's one of those deals where a lot of times if you are in a storm situation where you've lost power, there could be significant amounts of rain
Right.
that come with this, at least where we are at. Um, and while it will still run like that, it's not the best for it. So it's just you also spent the money to get it, but I, I'll just tell you, I'm with you, man. Like, these things are so handy, and the fact that I can take it with me camping if I really need it,
Mm-hmm.
like that's a game changer in
Yeah.
so many ways. So really really cool, man.
Yeah. I'm stoked to have it. Uh, and I anticipate. I mean, like when you buy something like that and you spend the kind of, because I think right now it's close to like $1,400 on Amazon.
Which is really good
It's
price.
it's a really really good price.
Yeah.
And we experienced this during the last like big power outage
Mm-hmm.
here. Is when you need it is when you get screwed.
Oh, of course.
And so for a generator like this, and this one was out of stock on Amazon for a long
I'm
time.
sure it was.
After a lot of power stuff happened here, and so to get one, you're looking at paying like $2,500
Right.
for the kind of generator like this that you would need. People were settling for less than what they needed just so they could have something.
Something.
What I would encourage most people to do is look at what their power needs would be for their property.
Yeah.
Talk to an electrician.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let them tell you what you would like, what it is that you want to have powered if things just go to hell,
Right.
and how long you want that to last, and the options that you have available on your property, and then what you need.
Mm-hmm.
And then look for that generator.
Simple.
And you probably would need one less than what I bought.
Right.
Most everybody would.
Yeah.
We just have a little bit bigger need for everybody living here right now.
Sure.
And so I wanted to get the best that I could.
Right.
But you could probably get by with something a lot smaller than
Yeah.
what we have, and still have everything that you need in case of an emergency.
Right.
And buy it now, because it's cheaper to buy it when you don't need it.
Yeah, it is. And oh, by the way, you just said it. Even if you anticipate, hey, the weatherman say it's coming, it's a week away, and
Yeah.
you anticipate that. Well, number one, if Amazon or wherever you buy it from has it in stock,
Mm-hmm.
and then if they can actually get it to you, all of these things play into what you're doing. So
Yeah.
it's generally, it's generally wiser if you can do something when you don't need it.
Right.
Then you're going to save more money. You're going to have it available when you do need it. Smart.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
So I think that's it, man.
All right, man. Well, hey, that's going to do it for tonight's episode. If you haven't already, please go like and subscribe all of our channels. YouTube, Facebook, Apple Podcast. Great place to go leave us a review and a rating. We appreciate each and every one of you. Tell your friends about us. Until next time, we'll see you later.
See ya.